in color. The continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
The wharf in Peyton Place. A frightened Rachel Wells heads for a meeting. A dangerous meeting with Jack Chandler in the room of his boarding house. She's convinced she will learn something about Chandler's involvement with the missing Allison. Tonight, she's determined to get to know Jack Chandler.
Okay.
Hello, Uncle Jack.
Rachel.
Can I come in?
Sure, Rachel, sure. Come on in.
I can only stay a minute.
Stay as long as you like.
You probably think it's strange my coming over here.
It doesn't happen every day.
I just wanted to know if you were all right.
Sure, I'm all right.
The other night, I thought maybe you were hurt bad.
It wasn't exactly a love tap you gave me.
It wasn't meant to be. You shouldn't have tried to keep me out there.
Maybe so. I saw you back at the farmhouse so sudden. I just wasn't ready for it. I mean, I remember when we were all so happy together when you were a little girl, before Lucy got sick.
Happy? You kept us prisoners.
It wasn't as bad as that, was it?
It was worse. Why did you do it? Why didn't you let me see people, be with people, like everyone else?
I didn't think the other girls out in the valley were good enough for you. I wanted you to have the best.
Like what?
Look, Rachel, I know I made mistakes. With Lieutenant Lucy and trying to make the farm pay. I know I didn't do just right by you, but I did my best. If you could find a way of giving me another chance.
You never gave me a chance. I don't figure you said 10 words to me in all those years that weren't anything but plain fault-finding. And you never opened up to me at all. I don't even know where you come from or what your life was like.
Well, now, I come from all over.
You see, that's just what I mean. You never really answer a question. You're so suspicious, and you taught me to be that way, too. Don't you trust anybody?
Well, you knock around a lot, you get in the habit of being close-mouthed, that's all. That don't mean I don't trust you, Rachel. I trust you a sight more than that Mr. Elliot Carson does.
Maybe.
That's a fact. He'll never trust you because he don't understand you.
And you do.
I think so. You're a farm girl, Rachel. Your place is out where it's green. Anyone see your face after tending a foal would know for a fact that you'd never be happy in town. You've got to miss it out there. I know you do.
What do you know about it? You're not a farmer. You didn't know the first thing about farming until you married my Aunt Lucy.
That's true enough. I was born in town just as you were. But I never started living until I came out the valley. Sitting on a rise, looking at the sky. Clouds 10 miles high.
If it means so much to you, then why are you selling the farm?
I won't if you don't want me to.
I'd better go.
I'll drive you back.
No, thanks.
It's getting late. You oughtn't to be walking in the dark streets.
I'll be all right. Besides, there'll be a lot more trouble if you bring me home.
When'll I see you again? This town gets awful lonely.
I don't know. You see, I'm taking night classes. I don't think I'll have much time.
Why'd you really come here? Carson sent you?
There you go again, just like before. Now can you see why I hate being with you? Because you never let up on me.
All right. But don't ever play games with me, Rachel, understand? Or you'll be awful sorry.
If asking after someone's playing a game, then I'm already sorry. Sorry I even went to the trouble.
Hey, Rachel. Rachel? Rachel? Now, I want you to sit down in the first available chair. This one.
I'm okay.
Are you gonna cook something?
Of course.
I'm not hungry.
Oh, I can see that. You're not hungry, you're not tired. You don't need the energy, do you?
Matthew Carson didn't wake up once the whole time I was there. I was counting on playing with him, too. By the way, I told Mrs. Carson I could babysit for her any night she wanted me.
We'll ask Dr. Rossi about it.
What are you worried about now?
Well, I saw Rachel coming down the wharf tonight right before I came to pick up the Carsons.
So what?
She was coming out of the boarding house where Jack Chandler lives.
Eli Carson lives in that boarding house, too.
Listen, there's something fishy going on between her and Chandler.
But Norm, Eli Carson was her very first friend in town.
She claims to be scared of Chandler, and yet she comes waltzing out of his boarding house in the middle of the night.
How do you know she was in Chandler's room? Did you actually see her?
No, I didn't,
Then she could have been at Eli Carson's.
but she was running. Now, why would she be running if she was with Eli Carson? Rita, I just don't want to see you get involved with her.
But I like her.
Oh, sure, you like people. But I don't think she's being honest with anyone. With Mrs. Carson, Rodney, you, anyone. I think she's playing a game with all of us. And I just don't want to see you get hurt by her.
Why don't you let me decide?
Because you haven't got any sense.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, you've got too much heart. You're too gullible.
Dr. Rossi said you were supposed to make life easy for me. Ever since then, all you've been doing is picking on me. You're not allowed to babysit. You're not allowed to cook. You're not allowed to clean the apartment. You're not allowed now to see friends. According to you, all I'm allowed to do is walk slowly and lie down every few seconds.
Rita. I just don't want to see her upset you.
You're the only one who upsets me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Why don't you just leave me alone? If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die.
You're not gonna die.
Okay, then stop treating me like you're afraid I might.
Come in. Oh, hello, Rachel. Come on in.
Hello. Are you busy?
Yes, but it's getting to be a chronic condition, like the spring sniffles or something like that. We'll just forget about it. Come on, sit down.
I was just on my way home. I registered for my classes tonight.
Oh?
You said you wanted to see my schedule.
Yeah, I begun. Basic English, fundamentals of American history, good. And general math, huh? Well, that looks fine, huh?
Yeah, at least it's a start.
Well, you don't sound too happy about it, do you?
Oh, no, it's just that everything seems so basic, fundamental, and general.
Well, I think it has to be. I mean, you've been out of school for a number of years. I mean, you're going to need material to catch up with, material to review and all.
I know. I guess I just didn't know that all the good courses had to have so many
Prerequisites.
prerequisites. Like if you want to take literature, you have to take this basic English. If you want to study modern America, first you have to study ancient America. I'm afraid it's just going to take such a long time.
Wait a minute. Hey, look, what's your rush? I mean, maybe the most important part of education is finding the right perspective on things. Did you ever hear the name George Santayana?
No.
Well,
Look, sit down. Sit down. Santayana was an American philosopher. He said those people who can't remember the past are condemned to repeat it. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you take medicine. This is really my medical homework right here. These are case histories. People that are not in a hospital now, but were here before I came. Now, as the chief of staff, I want to find out the good, the bad points about it so that I can improve it, you see? It's the same identical theory with those principles of the study of a country, or the study of Miss Rachel Wells. So you better start on your ancient American history here, and we'll launch you into the space age soon enough.
All right. I guess I just need someone to keep telling me that there's something worthwhile in being educated. Because my Aunt Lucy always felt that time spent in school was wasted time.
Well, then maybe that's because your Aunt Lucy wasn't lucky enough to get a formal education of her own.
Probably.
You know what I wish?
What?
I wish that a little genie would suddenly pop up somewhere and hand me your birth certificate, that long-lost birth certificate of Rachel Wells, and it said that she was, 27 or 28 years old.
You're talking about us, aren't you? About you and me.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, let's see. How are your study habits?
I don't know.
Well, you see, studying is really an art. You have to find out what techniques work for you.
Well, I have a good memory.
Well, yeah, I know that. I remember one of the first times we talked. You stood in front of this very desk and practically threw the whole book of Genesis at me. You see, it takes more than a memory, though. You're going to have to learn all kinds of other things, how to take notes. Now, how's your concentration?
It's pretty good, I guess.
Well, concentration is very important also. A lot of times you'll be studying under far less than the ideal conditions. See, you're going to have to learn how to resist distractions.
Well, I'll try.
Well, it'll take practice sometimes. I remember in medical school, we had a professor that used to give his entire lecture with a cigarette clenched in his teeth like this. And once he got going, well, sometimes the ashes would get 2 or 3 inches on there. We'd become so intense as to watching those ashes, trying to find out if they'd fallen or not. We never heard a word that he said. I think he kind of did it on purpose or something.
Well, speaking of concentration, I'd better let you get back to your homework.
Oh, no, I'm all finished for tonight.
Well, I didn't mean
Listen,
to
wait a
stop
minute.
you.
You just better establish something right now. I don't want you ever to apologize again for coming here. I said I'd help you with your schoolwork, and I will.
I know you will.
No, we're going to put you in an entirely different category than that of Professor Hutton's with a cigarette.
You know, I was going to take a foreign language, but the counselor felt I should wait at least a semester. What do you think?
Well, I think that's good. It'll give you a chance to get oriented.
I bet Miss Howard spoke a foreign language.
Yeah, she did, as a matter of fact. She spoke French very well.
She was very intelligent, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was a bright girl. But so is Rachel Wells. Don't you forget that.